Eyewitness News presents Newsmakers, winner of the Pennsylvania Association of Broadcasting Award for Excellence in Public Affairs Programming, with your hosts, Jayne and Bugda and Andy Mehalshick.
Hello and welcome to Newsmakers. I'm Andy Mehalshick.
And I'm Jayne Bugda. Empowering women with the skills and the attire they need to enter the workforce with confidence. That is the mission of Dress for Success.
And today we'll learn about the organization, its programs, and how you can help them continue to inspire a new generation of women.
We'll introduce you to our guests, and our conversation will begin when this edition of Newsmakers returns right after this. Welcome back to Newsmakers. I'm Jayne Bugda along with Andy Mehalshick, and our topic of conversation today is Dress for Success. They help women get ready for the workforce, giving them confidence, skills, and new outfits. So joining us today to talk about their mission is Iezzi, who is the Executive Director of Dress for Success, Lackawanna, and Linda Armstrong, who is the founder and CEO of Dress for Success in Luzerne County. Thank you both for being with us today.
Thanks for having us.
It's a very active and very interesting program, the Dress for Success. So we want to give our viewers a little idea of what you do and who your services are available to. So we always like to start with the history. Tell us a little bit about the history of Dress for Success.
Sure.
Well, Dress for Success was founded in 1997 by an altruistic law student named Nancy Lublin, who received a $5,000 inheritance, and she wondered what she could really do with that money. And in an elevator ride from the lobby of her building to, I think, the 5th floor, she came up with the Dress for Success concept, thinking that you couldn't pull yourself up from your bootstraps if you didn't have any boots. And she partnered with a nun from Harlem and I forget who else, but they said, put that money in the bank and let's go, and found this organization. And, you know, in the 20-some years now since then, we've reached almost 2 million women internationally. Yes. We've grown it from that one little shop on West 4th Street. We're now an international organization that served, almost 2 million women since we were founded.
It's really amazing. We were talking before on air how the group has grown and almost exponentially. When people hear Dress for Success, sometimes are there misconceptions about what your group is about? You have to be a certain income level or certain from a certain neighborhood, a certain community. It's really open. Are there misconceptions out there?
There are a lot of misconceptions. First of all, a lot of people just think about it as the clothing, and we offer so much more than the clothing. But we really help women from all walks of life too. So while we are referral-based organizations, you know, women who are in need, women who are transitioning into employment, women who need direction in finding what their next steps are, can certainly come to us. You know, if they're not certain whether or not they qualify for our services, all they need to do is just pick up the phone and give us a call, and we are happy to walk them through, you know, what we offer. In addition to the clothing, the career development programs that we offer, and really helping them find their path and find their ways.
And while we're talking today, you'll be seeing some of the video of the Dress for Success in Luzerne County, which is in Wilkes-Barre, and the one that is in Lackawanna County, which is in Scranton. So tell us a little bit about how both of you got involved in the Dress for Success program and how your shop's opened.
Well, actually this year we're celebrating our 10th anniversary. I retired about 13 years ago, I think, and came back to this area. I left New York and came back to my home here in Luzerne County, and realized that Dress for Success would be a good fit here in Wilkes-Barre. And I had volunteered at Lackawanna County for a while, and then thought, you know, I'm going to open in Wilkes-Barre. The transportation issue alone. Women in at-risk situations in Wilkes-Barre weren't going to go to Lackawanna County to get help, and you know they could barely make it around Luzerne County. So I founded Dress for Success in Luzerne County, and it took a bit to open up, but we opened in a little shop on East South Street, and a few years later, graduated to our current location on West Market Street, and we've reached, I think, it's just under 2,000 women so far since we've opened. So it's good.
And tell us about Lackawanna County.
Well, we started in 1999 as a project of Leadership Lackawanna, and right now we are celebrating our 21st anniversary this year. And I started with the organization actually right before Linda opened with her organization. So I'll be with Dress for Success Lackawanna for 10 years. It was primarily a volunteer-run organization at the time, and they were looking to bring in an executive director to help the agency grow in our area. So for the last 10 years, I've been with Dress for Success, and we are currently on North 7th Avenue. And we are going to be moving to a new location now in Scranton at the Marketplace at Steamtown. And we're really excited. We'll be quadrupling our space. So it's going to allow us not only to house our suiting program, but also to do a little bit more with our workforce development programs too, and running our Job Ready program and our job retention program.
And is there a typical age of your clientele, the folks who would come to you for services, or referred to, I should say? Is there a certain age group, or is it really day by day?
I would say it's more day by day. The average woman that comes to us is probably anywhere between the ages of 18 to 40. But we've had as young as young girls as young as 16. And we've had someone as old as 92. So she was still, she still wanted to work. She was referred to us through an agency. But it really varies from day to day. But I would say on average, with our averages where we're at in Lackawanna County, I would say anywhere between, primarily 18 to 40.
And really the prime working and family years.
Yes.
You're raising family, you're out of college or high school,
Right.
and that's where you, like they say, make your hay.
Well, that's in our statistics are, it's interesting, but the typical Dress for Success Luzerne County client is a single working mother, a single woman between 18 and 35, raising 2 to 3 children on her own. So I think 97% of the women we serve are heads of household.
So how do you get referred to Dress for Success? If someone's out there saying, I need help, who do I go to?
Well, I would say 9 times out of 10 when someone calls us, they're already working with an organization that's a referral partner with us. So it could be any of the nonprofits in the area. It could be any of the schools. Many of the colleges are referral partners with us. Churches, if they need to go through, if they're working with the church. It really varies from organization to organization. So the best thing to do would be to just call us, and if they're not certain whether or not they're appropriate for the services, they can just call us and talk to us.
And they should actually talk to their caseworkers at whatever agency, because those caseworkers, if they don't know about us, they should know about us. There's new programs out there. The recovery centers are opening up. There's a great program called Free to Be Moms that are helping young mothers going through maternity with opiate addictions. So there's a lot of agencies, and if anybody needs help and they're working with one of our community partners, they should speak up to that partner and say, hey, I heard about Dress for Success, can I get there? And we need to speak to those agencies if we haven't partnered with them already.
And you also help them with different programs about going to a job and doing interviews. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I like to say at the end of our mission statement, we don't just provide clothing, but we do help to change lives. And, when you're in the middle class and we've learned different work ethics and different things, it's just ingrained in us and our families. But if you haven't seen an example of somebody working, you don't know. You don't know that you have to get up and get there on time, that you need some social skills, you need workplace etiquette. A lot of our women come and I'll say, well, what kind of job are you looking for? And their answer will be, well, I'll take anything. but if you just take anything, you'll be back with us in 6 months. So let's really look at what you want to do, and how can we get you there, and how can we cross-refer you to different programs for school and get education. And I think it was 38% of the women I served last year had 9th grade educations. And where are you going to go with that? So how can we get them into a GED program? How can we prepare them for more education and to really build something sustaining for themselves and their families? And that's the way we feel like the end of childhood poverty. Let's end that cycle by putting a mother back to work. So.
And you're probably beneficial for a woman also who's re-entering a workforce.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes,
Things change.
Yeah.
I know,
Resumes change.
I recently just looked at my resume and I said, oh my goodness, like, wow, let me fix this. Let me update this a little bit. And people don't realize their email addresses are trending, and so we have to update a few things.
And employers are looking for different things, so it's just those little tricks on the resumes to make your resume stand out a little bit more, and it's the coaching and helping with the mock interviewing, because everybody gets very nervous during an interview. We want to make it as comfortable as possible, and being able to talk about their skill sets and what they can be bringing to the employer, the value that they can bring.
That one question, tell me about yourself, it freezes so many professionals. Like, what do you want to know? Well, we help create that sentence for them and make it natural for them to say it.
And isn't it interesting, because the person you should know the best, yourself. When you have to explain to somebody or describe yourself, that's tough.
Yeah. It is tough. It's hard to talk about yourself.
Sure, we do so many interviews, and sometimes the people, the smartest people, you put that camera on and say, tell us about yourself, and they just can't do it.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that we teach too, is that the 30-second elevator pitch. If you're lucky enough to meet someone in an elevator and you're going floor to floor, what would you say to that person within those 30 seconds to sell yourself and show the value that you can bring? So those are some of the things that we walk them through, and we guide them through that, and just to make them feel a little bit more comfortable, because it is very difficult to talk about yourself. But really, many of the women that we work with have very low self-esteem as it is.
Yeah, they've been through interruptions in their lives and abusive situations and just beaten down so badly that they just want to disappear into the corner of an elevator. And we help them come out fighting. And, I was working with a woman today who could, I was going through her skill set, and she was like, oh, I waited tables, I did this. I said, you were a customer service expert, weren't you? And she's like, well, yeah. And we put her resume together in a way that she I did those things. I said, aren't you magnificent? And she was like, and she cried, like, you are magnificent. And that's a lot of what we do, telling our women
building
just
confidence.
How incredible they are, and hoping
and
that
everybody brings a value, and that's what it is. It's really showing them the value that they are bringing and the skills that they truly have. Like Linda just said, they see themselves as just being a cashier, as just being a waitress. Well, that's a skill that I probably can't. Waitressing would not be a job that I would be very good at. So that's something that it truly is a talent to have if you can do something like that.
Do you see, and I hear a lot in our region, that folks around here, especially natives, will settle. They settle for a job. They settle for, well, I can do better, but it's okay.
Right.
Do you see that attitude changing, or do you see that attitude at all? I mean, it's sometimes like, it's good enough.
Yeah, well, I think it depends on the situation of the person that's coming through, because most of the women that come through our agency need the job. They need the job because they need to pay the bills, they need to pay the rent, they need to put the food on the table, and they need to provide for their children, because they are single moms. The majority of women are single moms. So the thing is, okay, you need to take this job if that's the way you look at it. But again, as Linda was saying before, what is your next step? What's your plan a year from now? What's your plan 2 years from now? What's your plan 3 years from now? What skill set can this job bring you to take you to another level? So those are a lot of the things that we work with, a lot of the goal setting, and letting them know that, okay, you may be here now, but we want to get you to a certain place, in this amount of time.
And a big part of your mission is helping women find the right clothes to wear for when you enter the workforce. And tell us a little bit about how a woman will come in there to get dressed, but also what does it cost to dress just one woman?
Well, we run for interviews. We usually see a woman for the first time when she's preparing for an interview. And then hopefully we see her very soon after when she gets her job. So the interview suit, we can run about $125 to $175 in clothing that it actually costs. But for that price, very often our women are getting high-end designer shoes, expensive coats. We get some beautiful clothing donated. So
and that's the cost for the agency to provide it.
Yeah, it's
so there's no fee for the person coming. We don't charge for our services at all. So everything that we provide is free, but to the services that what it costs the agency to provide that service, and that's what that
to keep our lights on.
Right.
But the clothing, the value to the client is like sometimes you can't even count it.
Right.
And probably some of these women coming in there, maybe haven't had the opportunity to wear a business suit or something, so you're also offering them some advice that way.
Right. Sometimes they don't even shop in malls.
Right.
They've never shopped in a mall, and we act as personal shoppers. We help them select clothing appropriate for an interview, appropriate for the job, and hoping that they feel great in what they're wearing, and they've never seen themselves in a jacket. And sometimes you put a jacket on somebody and they're like, and I was like, it's not made of glass, it's not broken, it won't hurt you. And then when they look in themselves in the mirror and they see, they stand a little taller and they say, wow, this really looks good. I'm like, yeah, if we want you to see, we want our clients to see what we see in them. And that helps build the process.
And their self-confidence must almost the minute they get dressed up.
Yeah.
And it's not like a Halloween or a party.
Right.
But when they put that on, they realize how good they do look.
They feel.
Well, when you look good, you feel good.
Right. Yeah. I challenge them to go to walk around downtown Wilkes-Barre and go into Boscov's and take a walk in and see how you're treated when you look like this and when you feel like this. And it just helps propagate the feelings. Nobody's following you around in a store now. And I was doing a program, and a group of my women were walking down, and they came in front of a bank, and all the executives, oh, good morning, ladies, and they all said good morning to us. I was like, they wanted your accounts now because look at you, and you deserve that.
And for women in our area, just so they have a clear of understanding, you're in Luzerne County and you're in Lackawanna County, and in our area, how many Dress for Success programs are there, and who can come to you for what areas?
Well, across the state, there are 5 Dress for Success affiliates. So there's Lackawanna, Luzerne County, South Central, which is in the Harrisburg area, Pittsburgh, and Erie. So women throughout the state can be referred to any of the the Dress for Success affiliates. But we also serve multiple counties too. So
you're seeing a great deal of women from all across our northeastern and central Pennsylvania. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Dress for Success and learn a little bit more about what they need to help fill their shelves. You can learn more about today's program on pahomepage.com. We're under the Newsmakers link, and you are watching Newsmakers. We are a proud recipient of 3 Pennsylvania Association Awards of Broadcasting for Excellence in Public Affairs Programming, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Newsmakers. Jayne Bugda along with Andy Mehalshick, and we are joined today by Marianne Iezzi and Linda Armstrong. They are with the Dress for Success programs in Luzerne and Lackawanna County, and we are talking about the programs that they offer, the clothes that they offer, the confidence that they install in women all across our region. And I think that what we want to ask you right now is, how are you funded? Because you do a lot of programs, you have a lot of clothes. Tell us a little bit about how you're funded.
Yeah. So we write grants like every other nonprofit, and that helps sustain our agencies. We do a lot of fundraising, but that we need to raise money to keep our lights on. and to be able to be there to be able to provide the services for the women. So it's a lot of, it's not easy work. But we do have a lot of support in the area from local foundations that help us out a lot of corporate support. We do have a lot of volunteers that really are instrumental in the success of the organization. We are very grassroots organizations, so we rely very heavily on volunteer support to help provide the programs.
Right. And we say, well, I say, your gently worn clothing doesn't pay our rent. And, people will absolutely reach in the back of their closets and give us, 30 years worth of their wardrobe. But we do need the financial support. We need to keep a roof over the clothing and to, buy things that we don't typically get donated. A lot of our women require non-skid shoes, surgical scrubs, plus size clothing we have to buy often. So there's things we don't get that we do have to buy, and we need the help with that. I never thought we were going to spend as much time as we have to looking for money. It was a little bit of a unicorn moment, I guess, when I founded the agency. Like, why wouldn't people just throw money at us? We're this great organization that's taking people out of poverty. But the reality is, no, it doesn't happen that way.
What kind of clothing articles, what kind of clothing do you need? And the second question is, it seems like the most basic thing. Get dressed up for a job interview or work, but you also help them do that. In other words, there's a playbook. Everyone's individual, I'm sure, what you look like, colors, whatever. But what kind of clothing do you need, and do you help them choose the right items?
Yes.
For that individual?
Absolutely. So the first thing that we do is find out where they're interviewing, because we base the clothing that we give them for the interview as to where they're going. So obviously we're not going to dress someone the same way if they're going to, say, maybe Walmart or a retail store versus going to a bank. So we look at where they're being interviewed. But I would say the classic pieces are probably the best for us. The black pants, the khaki pants, more of the traditional blouses. We really try to stay away from the fads, and they have to be contemporary, because there are many times that a woman will come to us in the morning to get suited and have an interview in the afternoon. So we have to make sure that she looks appropriate, and she does not look like she's wearing clothes that have been dated for a long time. So, it's very important to us that, the clothing, the donations be not older than 3 years, preferably. And they do have to be clean and on hangers, because
ready to go.
Ready to go, absolutely. They may have to walk out the door with them that day and go to an interview.
One of the things, first impression.
No doubt.
One thing that we deal with is that we do have an aging population in this area, and at least 3 or 4 times a week I get a phone call that, my mom passed away, my grandmother passed away, and I'm like, I'm really sorry. Oh, it's okay. She was 98. She's been in that nursing home for 20 years. I've got to get rid of her clothing. We want to give it to you. And I'm like, no, please don't. It's been in a closet for 20 years. It's not appropriate. Our women are between 25 and 35 years old. We need something that's contemporary, something that can go on a 25-year-old woman. And then, but she was a great dresser. Well, she was a great dresser 20 years ago.
But you have to think of today.
And
I want to show the video from Co-Creative that they did.
Great.
That's really neat that they did for Luzerne Dress for Success. And it shows in there about the women getting ready, and it kind of gives a little bit of a feel of what they go through and what the smiles on the women's faces. We have about 2 minutes to go here, but I want to ask you both, what do you feel like the impact on you two when you dress someone and they've succeeded? How does that feel?
It's why we do what we do. It's amazing when you see a woman out in the world who grabs you and says, you helped me, and look at me now, and I'm doing this, and I'm working towards something else. It's remarkable. It's made me cry more than once.
And you know, it really is overwhelming because many of them will cry when they're leaving because, you know, just being treated the way that they're treated and really having clothing that they probably never would have been able to afford. So, you know, they're very appreciative. It's heartwarming to see how appreciative they truly are. And like Linda said, it really affects all of us because you don't realize the struggles of people until you're talking with them and you're dealing with them because they truly are struggling.
About a minute left. If someone has a service they want to offer, like someone to come in to teach women how to do something, just give you both a call.
Absolutely.
And you offer businesses and maybe agencies to come in to talk to the women.
Yes.
I want to remind everybody that on pahomepage.com we have all the information that you've seen today. We're going to have your wish list on there of all the clothes that you need and some of the programs that are coming up, some of the fundraisers. About a minute left. What do you want to tell the viewers out there about Dress for Success that we haven't already said?
We love working in this community. It's our pleasure to serve this community. We want to help bring it to the next level economically and fashionably and with decency and dignity.
We provide a wonderful service. We provide a service that's really needed in our community. And, you know, we've helped between the two organizations, you know, close to 10,000 women in our area. So, and we are growing, and you know, not only locally but as a worldwide organization.
Well, Marianne and Linda, thank you both
so
for what you do and joining us today.
Thank you.
For Andy Mehalshick and everyone behind the scenes, I'm Jayne Bugda. Thank you for making Newsmakers part of your day, and check us out on pahomepage.com for information on today's shows and other shows, and we'll talk to you next time.